celebrate. They have done it.
Hi everyone, back at Evermore YouTube channel. It's Chris back with my rant stroke thought of the day, and I don't actually know what this one's going to be honest with you. It's a bit of a thought which will maybe turn to a bit of a rant and just a real genuine curiosity as to what the hell is going on in the world of content creation, both in the mainstream media and just, people making content to try and be seen and be heard, really. And it all comes in the wake, really, of Newcastle United's unbelievable victory in the Carabao Cup final. 70 years without a domestic trophy, 56 years I think it was without a trophy in general after won the Fairs Cup back in the 60s. And I understand tribalism in football. I understand the Mackems being a bit annoyed or a bit disappointed or a bit salty about Newcastle winning the cup. We are bitter rivals. I know we're in different leagues and have been for a while now, but I get that. I get the understanding of not liking that club winning something, same with Liverpool and Manchester United and City and Manchester United and Celtic and Rangers and all that. I totally understand the feeling of kind of saltiness and bitterness between those fan bases. I totally get that. But the world of football content creation right now is completely changed into something that is just plain weird, to be honest with you. Shout out to the guys at Gallagher Shots, Chris and Decker. I think I've seen them touch upon this a few weeks back in the wake of their reaction to Paul Scholes, which I did one as well, on the media Muppets. And my God, how many of them do we do these days? And we'll start there. We'll start with the mainstream media. Now, there's so much news outlet, platforms out there in terms of there's radio stations, there's TV shows, there's web links, there's YouTube channels, there's everything, there's everybody has to have some kind of news content to get out there and push it and drive it. Sky Sports years ago looked at the likes of True Geordie and Goldbridge, hoovering up these views in the space of YouTube and thought, we want some of that as well. So they then started to go and do things like the overlap and the fan forums. And now they get together and they talk about, is this player from 10 years ago better than this player from right now? And all this kind of stuff that is just a bit odd, really, in many ways. I understand all-time Premier League 11s and the top 10s, like the Match of the Day guys do. I quite like that. I quite enjoy that. Because it's open for debate in terms of, players from different generations. And, you're talking about, Shearer versus, I don't know, Henry and, or maybe versus Suarez when he was in his prime at Liverpool, Haaland right now, all that kind of stuff. I like that debate. That's cool. That's great. But what's happening now with those mainstream media outlets is it's pretty gutter type journalism, really. And it's a simple phrase really that they're using, and it's rage baiting is what they're trying to do. So it isn't just for Newcastle, but I'm talking about this because we're a Newcastle channel, and right now in the wake of Newcastle, performing this absolute miraculous achievement of winning a cup, relegation fodder 3 years ago, being in the Champions League, smash PSG 4-1 at home, and winning the Carabao Cup, and we still don't get against the best team in the land, by the way. And we don't get enough credit from it, from the mainstream, and it's weird. And I'm not even sure that the people who are saying these things really believe what they're saying. It's a producer in their ear. It's some little prick with a clipboard saying, "Oh, go wind the Newcastle fans up. We'll get loads of interaction. It'll be loads of fun." And it just seems a bit odd, a bit weird. It's almost like there's a lack of imagination, a lack of innovation, in terms of talking about football in those mainstream media, hubs. And that's weird because they've got people who have maybe got degrees in sports journalism. There's people who have played the game, every aspect of the game. They've played, they've managed, they've been coaches, all that kind of stuff. How can you run out of football content to talk about to the point where you go, I'm just going to rage bait a fan base to watch them react and kick off and ring up radio and floods of tears because you've upset them to the point where, they're really kind of at a war with themselves internally because of the shit that you're saying. The likes of Jamie O'Hara and Cundy. I mean, I see them on Talk Sport. I listen to them, that weird crap when he goes, has anybody seen any innovative content on that channel or that station? Because I fucking haven't, because it's just rage bait, and it really is. And I say it isn't just reserved to Newcastle. The rage bait every fan base, especially them two. O'Hara was just out there the other day talking about how Newcastle have gone over the top celebrating this victory, and parking again your football tribalism and your love for your own club over the club that's celebrating right there. Just look at that from a human aspect. go and watch some of the content. Go and listen to those supporters. I've just watched the All the Smiling Faces ITV segment there before, and it's absolutely beautiful. There's 96-year-old season ticket holders there who have got to see that. You don't know how long these people have got left on this earth, and to see that and to have that love and appreciation and bask in all that glory with their fellow Geordies of all generations. That's a beautiful thing in a really cold, hard, harsh world where everyone's out to get you, attack you, trip you up, make you look stupid, have a joke at your expense. What happened with Newcastle at the weekend was a moment of pureness in a cold, horrible world. It was just, if you could pocket that feeling, if you could bottle that feeling, you could sell it for anything you wanted it for, because it was absolutely incredible. And for a human being to look at that and their first action is to antagonize, wind up, take the piss just to get a few likes or clicks, I think that's a real sad representation of certainly where society is. I'll get onto the amateur content creators in a minute, but the mainstream media guys who are getting paid a lot of money, and their platforms, people pay to subscribe to those things, to pay for Sky Sports, to pay for TNT, all that stuff. And it's not real football content anymore. It literally is just rage baiting, winding people up. I did the video about Skulls a few weeks ago when I had Leon from Newcastle Fan TV, and he asked about a statue for Eddie Howe, and they didn't even give him time to explain the context. He might not have meant now. He might have meant when Eddie Howe moves on or retires or whatever. Do Newcastle build him a statue? And the answer to that is probably yes, because he was the first manager to win a trophy for 70 years. He doesn't need a statue right now. Man City have got statues of Vincent Kompany, David Silva, and people like that. Dennis Bergkamp and Henry got statues at the Emirates, but you don't see the mainstream media take the piss out of that, because there's a real bias in terms of the Elite Six clubs, mainly because the people who produce these networks and represent these networks, they're Arsenal fans, they're Man United fans, they're ex-Liverpool players, they're ex-Man United players. You look through the mainstream media and you list them off. It's a who's who of who played for Man United or Liverpool. Gary Neville, Manchester United. Owen Hargreaves, who's the dullest man in the world, by the way, Manchester United. Rio Ferdinand, Manchester United. Jamie Carragher, Liverpool. Jamie Redknapp, Liverpool. Souness was on there, Liverpool. Roy Keane, Manchester United. You look at Match of the Day and they've got, Micah Richards, who played for obviously Man City and Villa towards the end of his career. It didn't go very well for Big Meeks. Shearer, who played for Blackburn and Newcastle, and Lineker, who played for every fucker, really. That's a good representation and a bit less of a bias, representative, I think. In their podcast, the rest is football. It probably bucks the trend in the mainstream media about rage baiting people. And the mainstream media at the minute is absolutely grotesque. It really is. Tweets or posters they shove out, opinion polls, and they do the Monday Night Football, they deliberately cut things out that are topical just to wind people up. And it's pathetic. It really is sad. And people just need to do a lot better in the space professionally. People who are paid vast amounts of money to come up with these ideas, you need to do better. You need to be more innovative. You need to engage with fans. Think about what fans want to talk about. Why not talk about how well Nottingham Forest are doing this season, and can they maintain that? Can they finish strong? Can they win a cup? Talk about Aston Villa, how well they're doing. Obviously, talk about Newcastle and everything that we've achieved and how good Alexander Isak is. But then don't caveat it with, he needs to go to Arsenal. It's absolutely horrendous. It really is, because not only is that pretty sensationalist and a little bit offside, it's also unnecessary, because you're going to wind up a fan base completely for no reason, just to get clicks and views. That's the main reason that they want to do it. But it's classless and it needs to change. It needs to stop. It's nuts. I don't understand it. And I don't understand why so many people want to watch it and consume it. The Gallagher Shots lad mentioned this. The people who seem to wind up other fan bases are the ones who have the most viewers, the most subscribers. And it's mental. I don't understand. YouTube's a very, very peculiar place at times. I've been doing this a very short period of time. It's not my main job. It started off as a hobby. It's grown into something a little bit more than that now. I've met a few people who watch the channel and they've got very nice things to say to me and to Mark, and it's really nice to hear that. It really is. Some people in the comments don't often agree with the content that we put out there, and that's cool. That's fine. That's on them. You know what I mean? There's no need for abuse. If you don't like it, cool. Don't watch it. That's cool with us, right? But the weird thing is about this space is, it seems to be, if you want to wind people up and you want to offend people, then that's your ticket to success these days. And I don't understand it. I really, really don't. I look at someone like True Geordie who started off, doing videos ranting and raving about Newcastle when we were dog shit, and I see how he's evolved as a content creator. He covers a lot more subject matter now. He's branched out. He does fighting. He does news events and things like that as well. And he's a good content creator. He doesn't go and bait people and wind them up. Yes, did a video about his Trent's legacy ruined the other day. That wasn't rage baiting for Liverpool fans. That was a topical question, and I'm cool with that. I've got no issue with that. But it's when you get like those three tits from the club that just go and say, "Oh, Newcastle a big club." No, Everton's bigger than them. Sunderland's bigger than them, and they know what they're doing. They're just rage baiting, and those are the tits for the Newcastle fans in there. Some people say he's a Macam. I don't know. He says he's a Newcastle fan. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. His guy talking around saying, "Oh, why are you fucking Geordies in the pub? Oh, you fucking freaks, you weirdos." And you can see him grinning when he's doing it because he's just doing it for the rage bait. And that's pretty sad, that. But then again, these fuckers have got more subscribers than what I would say are good content creators. I just don't get it. I don't understand it. It's really been making me kind of scratch my head and just ask why. What is going on? And maybe it's because of an age demographic. I don't know what it is. I'm older than these guys. Maybe that's what it is. I just don't have any time or patience for that shit. But you see some good content creators and some good fans with very big social media followings, like HLTCO. I always get the abbreviations mixed up. Sorry, mate. The Crystal Palace lad, him speaking really well about Newcastle, and even the Everton fans that we haven't always seen eye to eye talking about how well Newcastle have done, and some Liverpool fans come out as well. But it's always the same kind of set of supporters: Manchester United fans, Arsenal fans, and it's embarrassing, And I don't understand why people want to consume that shit and feed that really just basic kind of Neanderthal style content creation, because I could jump on here and call somebody a wanker, and get 100,000 views and another 20,000 subscribers. But, is that really the route you want to go down? And it's not for me personally. I like to come on here and give my opinion about something. If somebody's pissed me off, I'll say my piece, and I will call them a wanker if I think they're a wanker. I think they act like a wanker. Like Paul Scholes, I think that was completely unnecessary. It was classless. Not only did he demean the victory for Newcastle United, he also disrespected that competition and what it means to other clubs. And it was just pretty pathetic by Paul Scholes. And he needs to have a good look in the mirror and go look at his buddy David Beckham with the way he behaved, with way more class than Scholes did, because Beckham doesn't need to rage bait. Beckham has got that innovative brain, that creative brain. He knows what he can do to get the content, to get people to watch him, to get people to buy into him, to get people to do it. Doesn't matter he's a good-looking motherfucker. Of course, that does help. But, Beckham's got that brain. He's got good people around him. But these are the mainstream guys. They just don't seem to have that. And it's weird. It's just, let's just go and wind people up, Like Goldbridge as well. Sometimes Goldbridge is great. Sometimes he talks a lot of sense. And then, again, he just goes out for the rage bait, clicking views. And you think, what's the point? And then he complains when other fans jump into his chat, giving him shit. So it's weird. It's very double standards there. But the mainstream media guys, I would say, and some of the big content creators, they just need to do a little bit better than rage bait. There's some great content creators like Alice, for example, Alice Talks Football, Manchester United fan at heart. She's fantastic when she talks about other clubs. She's very respectful. She's very learned. She's very knowledgeable about what those clubs are doing, the squads, the players, everything else. I mean, fuck me. I saw Ray Parlour on Talk Sport saying Dan Burn wants to get back in the England squad. It was his first ever cap. That's how thick this twat was. He was probably about 8 pints in at Cheltenham. But that's a former player, former England player. Surely you would think you'd have a fucking brain cell to say, just look on his phone, that little computer in the palm of your hand. Oh, has Dan Burn ever played for England before? No, he hasn't. Shit, it's his first cap. I better not say that and make a dick of myself. But, Talk Sport is just a revolving door of mediocre, average players. Ray Parlour wasn't, by the way. He was a good player, but revolving doors of mediocre, average players, who are set in a different time zone, that, older guys who maybe need to be shuffled off the radio, not kept on the radio. There'll be a generation of younger broadcasters who could come on there and give that a lot more credence and a lot more open-mindedness. There is some good presenters out there. Mark Chapman's a great presenter. He's very honest and respectful to other fans as well. I think he's a Man United fan as well, but he still gives people the respect and and decency that they deserve. But a lot of these guys don't do it. Then you get into the content creators, you get into the amateur content creators, and you're seeing them coming out and they're rage baiting and they're giving it the big in and all that. I saw this video the other day. There's a guy in a Newcastle top, by the way, who claimed to be related. I think must have been to Loire because his clue was that obvious to do. And he's saying how we're going over the top with the win and all that stuff. And and I'm wearing this because Newcastle's my second team. And you think, well, if Newcastle were your second team, you wouldn't be insulting them on TikTok for subscribers and followers and views. Be creative, be innovative. Like the big man following me, I'm delicious. He's great. He's funny. He's taking his life from one direction to another just by being creative and being funny, and coming up with ideas. And I just think the content pool at the minute is shallow as a puddle of piss. And there doesn't seem to be a lot of great content out there. And it's just, let's just wind people up. Let's just get fans to bite. And that seems to be the way it is, whether it's mainstream media who are paid a very, very handsome salary to do that, or whether it's people in their bedroom wanting to be somebody big. They just think the best way to do it is to take the piss, wind people up, and disrespect them. And I think there's a better way to do it. But it was on my mind. I just wanted to come on and talk about it, guys. Get it off my chest a little bit. I find this cathartic. Some people like it, some people don't. But like I say, that's your call. But if you do like it, click like and subscribe. Let us know in the comments below what you think about the way content is going right now. This unnecessary lazy trend of rage baiting. Do these people need to be better, or do we just need to turn a blind eye to it? But it's everywhere you look, and it does, and it's unnecessary. It's crass. It's classless. And I just don't agree with it. But that's my thoughts about it, guys. Let me know yours. We always like to hear from you. Drop a comment in. We'll do our best to reply. And you keep it above the belt. We're all just talking football here. There's no reason to be one of those rage baiting twats that I've just mentioned about there. Let's have a conversation about it rather than just have a go at each other. But that's my thoughts on it, guys. Have a belt there. Enjoy the rest of your day. And we'll see you on the next one. Cheerio.